Welcome. This is the Rip Griffin Show podcast, a baseball podcast for baseball fans of all ages. Now, here's your host, Rip Griffin.
Hello, baseball world. Welcome to this episode of the Rip Griffin Show with Brad Chandler. I'm your host, Rip Griffin, and my co-host tonight, as always, is Mr. Brad Chandler. Brad, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Rip? How we doing today?
Man, we are doing good. We are getting close to the weekend, but we've got a lot of great stuff on tap for tonight. I'm excited to get to it. We had a lot of interaction on our Twitter page, so let's dive into
That
it.
was actually really cool. And thank you to everybody that's been, following us on Twitter. We just started our Twitter page, and it's nice to get some interaction and some followers. And so I'm just going to do what I told you I was going to do before we ended up coming in here. So today, it was announced that Mr. Dave Dombrowski is back. He is back. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. So if you know the reason, me, I'm a Red Sox fan. So like hearing those two words, Dave Dombrowski, it brings back nightmares. It's like, no, stop. So Dave Dombrowski is known for depleting minor league systems for world championships. And he tried doing it with the Detroit Tigers and he failed. He also he did do it for the Boston Red Sox, and he ended up actually winning one World Series. He does make some very questionable decisions. I was watching a video probably about 20-30 minutes ago with my buddy Terry Cushman talking about it, and he's just warning all the Philly fans. So I'm not going to sit here and go, because I could talk for the entire time about how much I don't think the Dave Dombrowski signing was actually a good idea. But it does bring it is interesting because the Los Angeles Angels were interested in bringing him as their general manager or their executive, and he declined them because he wanted to stay in Nashville to help Nashville bring in a all African American owned baseball team to the city of Nashville. So I don't know what happened there. Like, did things change?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like maybe this Philadelphia Phillies position is something that it was too hard to pass up, and that's why he kind of took the route that he did. I know we were kind of talking off air before we got onto the show. I'm not too familiar with Dombrowski other than the fact that he was associated with the Boston Red Sox, but maybe we'll see what's going to happen in Philadelphia and with this new regime. You still have Joe Girardi as your manager. You still have, Bryce Harper as one of your focal points.
I'll tell you right now, if Dave Dombrowski stays around for a couple of years, you can see Harper probably leaving the Phillies soon.
Wow.
That he is part of the reason why, and this is kind of Dave Dombrowski, is because, well, he had ties to, or he was the president of baseball operations for the Boston Red Sox, and some of his decision makings ended up forcing the Red Sox hands into trading our player of the week, Mookie Betts, to our team of the week, the LA Dodgers.
Right. And we'll find out what's going to happen. As we kind of were setting up the show earlier this week in our production meeting, we kind of had everything kind of set what we wanted to talk about. And this kind of took
Sorry, man.
Today. No, I mean, that's the nature of the off season. It's quiet throughout the whole week. And then all of a sudden we've got a big hiring like, Dave Dombrowski going to Philadelphia.
Yeah, there's nothing that says like how long the contract is for or how much it's for. So all that information, we will make sure to let you guys know as soon as we receive it. We'll post that up on our Twitter.
Absolutely. So let's kind of change gears a little bit. We kind of had some awards this week. One of the most notable and most iconic awards is the Roberto Clemente Award, which was awarded to Adam Wainwright of the St. Louis Cardinals. Such a great award. It's an award that demonstrates values of the Hall of Famer Roberto Clemente, that displayed his commitment to the community and understanding of helping of others. So congratulations to Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, Wainwright deserved the award. And, like you said, congratulations. Anybody who gets the award, it's got to be an honor.
Absolutely, especially such a prestigious award such as the Roberto Clemente Award, because Clemente was such a huge impact both within the community and within his organization and with the Pirates. And Wainwright kind of embodies that with the Cardinals. He does so much off the field for that community, and it couldn't have gone to a greater player.
I actually ended up seeing. Why am I having a brain fart here? The Pujols. I don't know why I was having a brain fart there. Did you see the video of Albert Pujols congratulating Adam Wainwright?
No, I have not checked that
Oh,
out.
dude, you got to see it. It was pretty cool.
Definitely.
Not to dismiss Adam Wainwright, but like every week we've got a lot to talk about. We've got the Texas Rangers made a big trade this week.
They did. And the Chicago White Sox are a team that are putting themselves in a position to win now. They traded for Texas Rangers pitcher Lance Lynn. In return, the Rangers got Dane Dunning from the Chicago White Sox, which is a young phenom that's up and coming. But the White Sox bolstering their rotation.
Yeah, I mean the Whites. It's actually really surprising of everything that's going on with the Chicago White Sox. I mean, starting with the firing of their previous manager to the hiring of their current manager. It was a shock that Tony La Russa was named as the manager for the team, and then everything that's been going on with him, like the DUI and everything. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next year with that team. Lance Lynn with Dallas Keuchel is going to be a hell of a duo, and then you got Giolito. I'm not sure how to say his name. So Giolito, he pitched a no-hitter in 2020. So I mean, he's bound to be something,
Oh, absolutely. And then you throw in their young phenom as well, Garrett Crochet, a tall lefty that's got phenomenal stuff. So their rotation is getting strong. And then, of course, they also added, which we kind of were under the impression that it was kind of a head-scratching signing. They did bring back Adam Eaton on a 1-year, $7 million deal with a club option for $8.5 million in 2022. But the option also has a $1 million buyout. So we kind of were wondering what that was about.
It's probably going to be one of those, if he sucks, they're not going to give him that extra $8.5 million, and they'll just be like, here's $1 million. Peace out now, homie.
Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
But, and then we got Carlos Santana. No, not the guitarist. He signs with Santana's deal was for 2 years, $17.5 million. And there was $1 million in incentives, and he'll be making $7 million in 2021 and $10.5 million in 2022.
Yeah, maybe another one of those signings that we kind of were unsure about. But Santana stays in the American League Central with the Royals. They kind of bolster their defense at first base. So and at a bat as well, but the Royals are starting to kind of make some moves as well to kind of get back into that contention. But we'll see what happens. 2 years, $17.5 million. We'll see what happens after 2021. But kind of moving on, the Giants signed Matt Weissler, a relief pitcher, that kind of add to their bullpen. Excuse me. Not too familiar with him, other than the fact that
same here.
It's a signing,
right?
One of the things I found interesting, and then we kind of talked about this in our production meeting, was Mel Rojas Jr. He was kind of gaining some interest with the Marlins. Then all of a sudden, he's not playing in the major leagues next year.
Yeah. Like what's going on, bro? Did you really want to play in like the AA.5 league? Come on, bro.
So he ends up signing a $5 million guarantee to play with the Hassan Tigers of the Nippon Professional League, Professional Baseball League. It's a new one, but
well, the Nippon Professional Baseball League, they're not new, but like getting interest from the Marlins, and then you're signing like a $5 million. I bet you he would have gotten more from the Marlins to play in AAA.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But if that's what he feels that he's worth, and that's where he wants to go play, then by all means. So, a couple of trades real quick, and we'll kind of jump into our second segment. The Angels did trade for Horacio Iglesias. So
right.
They added some bullpen help, which is needed for the Angels. They also did trade for Jose Iglesias.
Yeah, they took him from the Orioles, and that was actually a little shocking for me. I known Iglesias since he played for the Red Sox, but once he ended up on the Orioles, I was just like, yes, nice. This, he's on a team I can pay attention to and whatnot. And then now he's gone.
Yeah, I know, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, the Angels will kind of get some more depth in their pitching rotation. But
yeah, everybody knows that the Angels need pitching.
If we can't emphasize that enough. But
pitching.
To kind of close out this segment, we do have a couple other awards that were awarded to players. Freddie Freeman and Jose Abreu both won the Hank Aaron Award for their respective leagues. Congratulations to those guys as well. Much deserved.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman was actually a shock for me. He was basically, he seems like there's no other way to really like compare him but to say that he was the DJ LeMahieu of the National League.
He really was, especially coming off when he contracted COVID.
Right.
And then to beat COVID and then to go out and play all 60 games. It's phenomenal.
He played all 60?
All 60 games.
Wow.
And to be the National League MVP. I mean, yeah, much deserved.
Yeah.
Much deserved.
Yeah. That's, congratulations.
To both guys.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to take anything from Jose Abreu, but I mean, like, congratulations to Freddie Freeman for everything that he went through this year.
Absolutely. So we got some more awards that will be in the works for the next end of this week and probably going into the next week. So I think we had some comeback players of the year that were going to be handed out.
Daniel Bard. I'm so happy that he ended up winning the comeback player of the year. He was a closer for the Boston Red Sox, and they decided that they wanted to make him a starter, which was his downfall. And then he ended up playing for like the Texas Rangers minor league system, and he had like 162 ERA. No, that's not a fib. He ended up quitting, and then he came back earlier this year. It was kind of funny because before he made his comeback, I was writing a blog about how I'd love to see Daniel Bard make a comeback.
And here he is, comeback player of the year. So,
right.
But that's gonna do it for the news.
So, who's our team of the week, bro?
I
don't know.
You don't know?
I have no idea.
I mean,
no idea.
Okay, I'm just gonna go out and say it. It's the defending. Oh, not defending yet, but the 2020 World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers.
The Los Angeles Dodgers. Hey. Wow. There was some stuff that was learned on the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Lots of things that were learned. Excuse me. But we learned that the Los Angeles Dodgers were not the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, if you didn't know that, then come on.
But we did find out that the team was founded in 1883, 1884.
83. 1983, they were known as the Brooklyn Grays.
And then from there, it started just kind of with the Brooklyn Athletics.
Atlantics.
I can't even read my own computer here. Then the Brooklyn Grooms, the Brooklyn Bridegrooms.
Right.
I guess they wanted to keep the bride and the groom together, so you just combine the two. The Brooklyn Robins.
Now, I knew about the Brooklyn Robins, but you had two others before that.
The Brooklyn Trolley Dodgers. Excuse me.
Which is how they ended up becoming known as the Dodgers. They were dodging trolleys.
And then most notably that we all associate the Dodgers with is the Brooklyn Dodgers. And then, of course, their current name, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
So I didn't know that they went from the Brooklyn Dodgers to the Brooklyn Robins back to the Brooklyn Dodgers. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was kind of a flip-flop. It was, a lot of name changes throughout their inception and, to their current name now. Probably one of the most successful teams in the way of playoff and postseason experience with 34 appearances, which is amazing. And then you've got 25 pennants. And then, of course, they have 7 world championships.
For a team like the Dodgers, I would have figured they would have a hell of a lot more than 7 world championships.
No, I agree. And especially for being a team that's been around as long as they have been. To have 7, I mean, 7 is a great number. I mean, it's 7 more than, some other teams, have. But I mean, they've still been a successful team in their own right. So, and of course, they've also had, most notably, they won the World Series this year.
Yeah. I definitely want to say, I'm tired of these people, the asterisk, because it's not a real season or it's a COVID season or whatever. I look at it this way. They had this, every other team had just as much a chance as the Dodgers did. And, the Dodgers were the best team from the word go.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they were the most dominant team in 2020. I don't remember what the record was, but I think at one point they were 30 and 13 or something like that. So
their overall record was 60 and 43. No, excuse me, 47 and 43 and 17. There we go.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's they were going to be in the World Series. With that team, you can't say that they weren't going to be. You had Mookie Betts. He was a piece for that team, and he helped them get over that hurdle. You had Kershaw, you have Turner, you have Muncy. You can literally talk about any position there, and there's an all-star. Seager, Bellinger, Peterson. I can't even believe that they were thinking about trading Jock Peterson at the beginning of before the season.
I know, and I'm actually glad that trade fell through, because given if he had gone to the Angels or wherever or was it the Twins?
It was the Angels.
It's the Angels. He wouldn't have come up big in a couple of those games in the World Series where he hit a couple home runs, drove in some runs to kind of help them get over that hurdle and beat the Rays and to win their 7th World Series championship. So I'm glad Jock Peterson was actually able to stay with the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's I like seeing people stay with their teams. I feel like right now I know that Justin Turner is a free agent. He's being looked at by the I think he's being looked at by the Rays, and
Okay.
it's man, I really would like to see Turner stay with the Dodgers, and it's not because I don't want Nolan Arenado to become a Dodgers, which I really don't, but it's I just don't. I can't really picture Turner for another team, you know.
It's hard to see him in another uniform, given that he's been with that organization for so long, and it's been such a staple and a focal point in that rotate or in that lineup, and also defensively at third base.
Right.
So it would definitely be hard to see him in another uniform. But given that he is a free agent, and I'm sure you want to try to recoup some of your money that you lost during this COVID era, so maybe a
I don't think I think Turner's of age now to where like he doesn't really need to so much make like 15-20 million dollars a year. He's probably going to want a 1 or 2 year contract and say maybe 10 mil a year. I wouldn't put it past that.
well, he is up there in age too. Or age what 36, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking he was 36 as well. So it's I
So a 1 year deal, maybe two, would probably be sufficient for him, given that he's towards the latter part of his career.
Yeah, and, wow. He's played for wow, I didn't know that he played for the Orioles or the Mets.
I knew he played for the Mets, and it was after the Mets is when he went to the Dodgers.
Right. He played for the Orioles in 2009 and in 2010.
And then there must have been a trade. I think there was a trade.
Uh, he started with the Reds. He never made
Okay.
it. He was claimed off of waivers by the Mets. And then he was released from the Mets and he found a new employer when yeah, so he ended up finding his new employer by he was hitting at so it says following his release from the Mets, Turner had not found a new employer or had not yet found a new employer when Los Angeles Dodgers bench coach Tim Wallach saw Turner hitting at a California State Fullerton alumni game. Turner signed a minor league contract with the Dodgers on February 5th, 2014, with an invitation to spring training. His contract was purchased by the Dodgers on March 16th, and he was added to the major league roster. Turner had a breakout season in 2014, playing 109 games due to his versatilities and injuries to both Hanley Ramirez and Juan Uribe.
Okay. So he's still, I mean, played for a couple of teams, but he was able to get a second chance. Sometimes that's all you need is a second chance, and next thing you know, you're on a team that has won 8 division titles, several postseason appearances, World Series appearances, and of course a World Series championship to kind of add to that resume. So Justin Turner, he kind of lucked out and kind of hit it just right with the Dodgers.
Yeah, there's only one thing, and I don't mean to harp on this because I did harp on it after the World Series. The one thing that disappoints me is the whole COVID situation, and I really wish that would have gone a different way
Yeah.
because, like, out of all the players that are on that team, I think Justin Turner is the least hateable guy. Like
Yeah.
the person that anybody wishes like, oh, they don't do good or something like that. So like you got Max Muncy, that's one of the guys that is like, yeah, you know what? I hope he strikes out. But Justin Turner, he's just one of those guys. He's very likable, and then when you see something like that happen, it's upsetting, you
Right.
know. And I also think that the way that Manfred and the Major League and all of Major League Baseball handled that was poor.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. When you go back and you look at the videos of him out there celebrating after he's been, told he's got COVID, You can kind of see it in his face a little bit.
He was a little. He was like, should I really be out here? You could tell that he was just like a little concerned, and it was, from what I understand, his teammates were the ones that were just like, you know what, screw it, you deserve to be out here just as much as we do.
Yeah, so everybody kind of was talking negatively about that situation. I know I was critical of it as well, but then you go back and you look at the footage and you kind of can see there is a little bit of remorse that he's showing out there on the field, but his teammates did embrace him and they were able to celebrate with him. It's an unfortunate way to end such a glorious situation and a glorious moment, but uh, hopefully that doesn't overshadow anything else going forward with him as he's still in free agency.
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to end up impacting where he goes and if he goes anywhere. So
Yeah. So, but one of the things that the Dodgers are most known for is they were the first team to sign an African American Major League Baseball player, and that was Jackie Robinson.
yeah, from like the moment like I really got really super into baseball, like I've known about Jackie Robinson since I was a kid,
Right.
obviously, and I didn't really like respect the whole situation, and I think what ended up making me like had a greater respect for the situation was probably like when I found out that there was Jackie Robinson Day.
Right.
So I know we're going to end up actually talking about Jackie Robinson in a little bit because he was one of the 4 players that we put up on our poll. But it's like when Ken Griffey Jr. brought to the attention of Bud Selig that we should be celebrating Jackie Robinson Day or Jackie Robinson for the simple fact that he was the first African American Major League Baseball player, and he broke that color barrier. So a 42 put a whole new perspective on it for me too. I've always been like a history buff
Right.
and stuff, but it's more like worldwide stuff. I didn't really follow a lot of the history with baseball. I just knew of the things that happened in my time. So going back and like listening and watching this stuff and whatnot, and like learning about Satchel Paige and some of the other players in the Negro League, it's actually really, really interesting, and like more of it should be available for like people who actually watch like Major League Baseball. If you ever really want to get some interesting like facts on like the Negro League and stuff like that, definitely look it up. What's his name? Josh Gibson, or the catcher. I don't know. I've lost his name, but they called him the Black Babe Ruth. And
Right.
he had like 800 or whatever home runs. And granted, maybe it was home runs off of people that were pitching like they were in like low A minor leagues. But I mean, Babe Ruth wasn't hitting home runs off of freaking like, people that were blowing 100 miles an hour.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I can remember going back, like, in high school and college as well, doing reports on Jackie Robinson.
it was Josh Gibson.
It was, and
I,
and it always intrigued me because it was always so fascinating that somebody of his caliber, and we'll kind of dive a little bit more in depth here in just a minute into Jackie Robinson, but just learning about him and his background and everything is truly remarkable and amazing.
yeah, I knew when I heard of Jackie Robinson when I was younger, the only thing I really knew of was the guy that stole home.
Right.
Because you didn't really hear, like, people really didn't like steal home. he was one of those people that ended up making that situation. He would steal, and that was his
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. He used his speed to his advantage. So,
Right.
but let's jump into our player of the week. Not to take you away from Jackie Robinson, obviously, but
No, we'll definitely dig into some Jackie Robinson in a minute. But our player of the week, so every week we've been doing a team of the week, and along with team of the week, we do a poll to where the listeners and our followers will pick out one of 4 players that we decide to have mentioned in our episodes. So we're going to be talking about our player of the week, which is Mookie Betts. We're going to be talking about Clayton Kershaw. We're going to be talking about Jackie Robinson, and we're also going to be talking about Sandy Koufax. I find it fascinating because we have 2 players that came in as second baseman, and we're going to be talking about 2 left-handed pitchers.
absolutely. When we put the poll out, it was so close between Robinson and Betts, and even if you throw in Koufax and Kershaw as well. So it's only fitting, and especially that our team of the week is the Los Angeles Dodgers, that we pay homage to these past and current players that have been such an inspiration to this organization throughout its years. So Mookie Betts did win the poll, not by much over Jackie Robinson.
I found that a little strange that people would have picked Mookie Betts with the fact that he's only been a member of the Dodgers for 1 season.
Yeah, coming over from Boston, but I guess he is the flashy player.
He's now the face of the Dodgers, man.
Absolutely.
He just signed a $12,365 million contract. So if that guy's not the face of the Dodgers, I don't know who is. It sure isn't Clayton Kershaw right now. He's not making that type of dough.
No, and Mookie's performance in the playoffs in the World Series was just absolutely phenomenal. Stealing bases in the World Series,
steal a base, steal a taco. That's the second time he's done that. He got everybody Taco Bell. I didn't get Taco Bell this time because they put like a time limit on it now. It's like between 3 and 5 p.m. or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Some people don't work,
Yeah, that's why they're giving out the free tacos. So
what's this thing about money?
Right.
But I mean, he did his defense, robbing home runs and making the leaps in the outfield, catching balls. It just proves that Mookie Betts is the face of the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's very disappointing and upsetting.
You sound heartbroken.
I'm a little disappointed. I talked about it a little earlier. Dombrowski is the reason why Mookie Betts is no longer a member of the Red Sox organization. There are other things that are involved too, but let's just get this heartbreak over with, please. So, I'm going to be doing the Mookie Betts part. I'm also going to be doing the Sandy Koufax part. Because Mookie Betts was an ex-Red Sox player, and me being the Red Sox fan of the 2 of us, it's probably better off that I talk about Mookie Betts because I would probably know more about him.
Go right ahead, because I only have watched him over the last couple of seasons, especially with Boston, and of course with the Dodgers this season. So,
right.
But you're more familiar with him.
Yeah, so Mookie Betts was originally a second baseman. We talked about, I mentioned that when we were talking about the players that we're going to talk about. He was originally a second baseman, played a little bit of shortstop while in the minors. I think it was the 2014 season, Dustin Pedroia ended up signing a 7-year contract with the Boston Red Sox. And so with that being done, it ended up blocking second base for Mookie Betts. So they ended up transitioning him out to center field, and then they end up transitioning him over to right field. Obviously, Mookie Betts could play like pretty much wherever he wants to. He could be the right fielder, center fielder, left fielder, second base. He could probably do it all.
And he can play any other sport as well. Did you see him shooting some 3-pointers and
wide receiver? He's very big into bowling. It's crazy how good this guy is in like every sport that he touches. So he's definitely going to end up being in the Hall of Fame as long as he continues to produce and as long as he stays healthy enough to keep playing. So he's won the MVP in 2018. He won the World Series with the Boston Red Sox in 2018. Also won the World Series with the Dodgers in 2020. One thing, and every time somebody mentions Mookie Betts and probably and asks me what's your favorite moment with Mookie Betts? And unfortunately, I don't have a favorite moment with the Dodgers. I do know that he will create a lot more moments with them, but my favorite moment with Mookie Betts, he had an epic, and I mean epic, and I don't use that word loosely. I mean, he had an epic 13 pitch at bat with then Toronto Blue Jays pitcher J.A. Happ, and it ended up concluding in a grand slam.
Jeez. Wow. That's obviously, first of all, that's a pro at bat.
Right. There was, I forgot who their first baseman was, but he let a ball fall.
Oh,
and he had to be kicking himself in the ass after that one.
Jeez.
Yeah. But the famous saying was, all right, we got the 3-2 pitch, and then you've got Dennis Eckersley comes in. He's like, all right, it's time to party. And then all of a sudden you hear the crack of the bat, and all you hear is Eckersley is like, yay! And Mookie Betts is like going crazy. I've never seen him show so much excitement for a hit. It was just like he almost fell over. That's how excited he was.
Oh,
so
wow.
I the only other thing that I can actually compare it to is when Shane Victorino hit that grand slam in the ALCS against was it the ALCS? I think it was the ALCS against the Tigers.
Ooh. That was
in 2013. That was the only time. That was the only other time that Victorino was on a championship team with the Red Sox. So it was either I think it was the ALCS, because the ALCS was way more exciting than the World Series itself.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check.
I'll send you the video.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to check out, because even seeing Mookie play in the postseason this year, he played with such emotion. Especially when he when he robbed that home run. I think it was off of Freddie Freeman. If I recall.
I don't think that was a home run. Was it a home run, or was it just the one that was he jumped up to the wall and he slammed into the wall and he was just like?
I think it was that one, but it might have been.
Yeah, that one. Series. That one was not a home run. That one would have hit the wall. But yeah, I mean, it was a leaping catch. So,
but it got them out of a jam, as I think they were on the verge of allowing a couple runs to score. They had men on base.
Yeah,
we'll have to go back and research as well. But
just to finish up with the Mookie Betts situation, he was traded to the Dodgers with David Price to shed payroll for the Boston Red Sox because of Dave Dombrowski. Listen to me, Phillies fans. This is what you should expect in a few years. Signed a 12-year extension worth $365 million, which will be paid out for the next 24 years. Yep, that's right, Dodgers fans. That's right. You heard me. That's 24 years, not 12, 24. So that money is going to be deferred, and it's going to be on that payroll like Bobby Bonilla.
And he did it better than Bobby Bonilla. But hey, that's why the Dodgers are paying him. We'll see what happens. But Mookie Betts is our player of the week. But we're going to go ahead and cover a couple of the other players that we had on our poll on our Twitter page. Jackie Robinson is one that we talked about a little while ago, so we're going to kind of get a little bit more in depth in Jackie Robinson because he is such a special part of Major League Baseball because of not only breaking the color barrier in 1946, but he's the only player that has his number retired by all 30 Major League teams.
Yeah, do you know what day is Jackie Robinson Day?
Tax Day, April 15th.
Wow. Did you really just do that? What a dick.
But April 15th is the day. But, it's the one day a year that Major League Baseball honors Jackie Robinson on a serious note. Because like he did break the color barrier in 1946 when owner of the Dodgers at that time, Branch Rickey, signed him because he wanted to be different and he wanted to add a little bit of culture and diversity into the team and the organization. So he signed Jackie Robinson in 1946, and Robinson played for the Kansas City Monarchs before he was signed with the Dodgers, which was a Negro team at the time. In 1946, he arrived in spring training down there in Daytona, Florida, for the Montreal Orioles, which is the AAA affiliate of the Dodgers. And so during that time, the Royals manager by the name of Clay Hopper, he asked owner Branch Rickey, to assign Robinson to another affiliate. And of course, Rickey said, no, I'm not going to do that. So there was a lot of things, in that time, social injustice and whatnot that played an obvious part within everything. But Robinson was not allowed to stay with teammates while they were down there in Daytona, Florida. During that time in Florida, there was a lot of mutiny that was starting to develop between the players and the organization. The players said they would sit if Robinson played, but management came in and actually took a stand. And manager Leo Durocher told the team, I'm going to quote this, "I do not care if the guy is yellow or black, or if he has stripes like a fucking zebra. I'm the manager of this team, and I say he plays. What's more, I say he can make us all rich. And if any of you cannot use the money, I will see that you are all traded."
Wow.
Powerful stuff.
It's so weird to know that like almost 80 years ago that's the way that people thought. I mean, I know there's some people in current day that think that was appropriate. The way that those guys were basically just like, no, we're not playing with this guy because he's not white. He's not, we are superior or whatever. And like it really wasn't that long ago.
Right.
I mean, you say 1946 and yeah, you look back and you're like, yeah, that was a while ago, but it's like, it really wasn't. It was just a couple generations.
Oh, absolutely. It seems like it was long ago, but when you look at it, it's not that long. He did play 10 seasons in the major leagues from 1947 to 1956. He was Rookie of the Year in 46. He was a 6-time All-Star, won a World Series in 1955, won a batting title and MVP in 1949. And then when he retired, he had a .311 batting average, 947 runs scored, 1,518 hits, and stole 197 bases. Insane numbers, but but that's like we were saying just a little while ago. He stole home. He stole bases. He made sure that if there's an opportunity to help his team, he was going to take it.
Yeah, and like I said, the best depiction I've seen so far of the Jackie Robinson story would have to be the number 42.
I think everybody symbolizes that number and immediate thinks of Jackie Robinson. And that's the reason why it's retired by all 30 teams.
Yeah.
Because of the sacrifice and of the things that he went through.
So not to take anything away from Jackie Robinson and the what he means to not just the Dodgers, but the entire major league, the entire baseball like all of baseball. I'm gonna just somberly move on to a Sandy Koufax. Did you have anything else that you needed to add to that?
No, we'll just thank Jackie Robinson for his sacrifice, that what he did for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh during that. I saw what you did.
My mic was off.
Yeah. Jackie Robinson definitely is one of the most, I don't even know how to say it, but he's probably one of the greatest players. He's like his number deserved to be retired. I believe his and Roberto Clemente's number both deserve to be retired by all organizations. I don't see them going to do the Roberto Clemente one anytime soon. But what both those gentlemen have done for the color barriers, for the nationalities, I think that I commend both of them.
Absolutely.
So moving on, I actually just realized while we were doing this conversation that Sandy Koufax actually played with Jackie Robinson.
Really?
Yeah, you said that Jackie Robinson ended up winning the World Series in 1955. So did Sandy Koufax.
Wow. That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yep, neither did I.
Look at us, learning something new every day.
And that's why we do this. So I'm going to go over quickly a few things with Sandy Koufax. Sandy, like I said, he's won 4 World Series championships. He won in 1955, 59, 63, and 65. I think that's the most World Series that anybody with the Dodgers have ever won. I'm not 100% sure there. He was a 7-time All-Star. He ended up winning 3 Cy Young Awards, 63, 65, and 66. He won 2 World Series MVPs. That was in 63 and 65. What else? He was 3 times the Triple Crown winner, 63, 65, and 66. He was a 3-time MLB wins leader, also 63, 65, and 66. He was a 5-time National League ERA leader from 62 to 66. He was a 4-time MLB strikeout leader, which was from 61, 63, 65, and 66. He pitched a perfect game on September 9th, 1965. And he also had pitched 4 no-hitters. He had his number retired by the Dodgers, number 32. And wow, this is actually kind of interesting to see. But he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1972. You know what percentage of votes he had?
It had to be in the 90s, 94, 95.
You would think, right?
Right.
No, he only had 86.87% of the votes.
Really?
That's shocking.
That is shocking. You would think with those type of numbers, you would easily get 95, 97% of the votes.
Nowadays, he'd be a first ballot, 100%.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Well, I'm glad he's in the Hall of Fame now because our next pitcher
is
is
definitely going to end up in the Hall of Fame,
definitely going to be
especially if it was up to Vince Scully.
Vince Scully, legendary broadcaster of the Los Angeles Dodgers, called Clayton Kershaw the best they have, and rightfully so. He and Sandy Koufax will both be enshrined. Well, of course, Koufax is already enshrined, but Kershaw will be there eventually because he has posted awesome numbers since he's been in the big leagues. So he was drafted out of high school in 2006, out of Highland Park High School, which is here in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He made his major league debut in 2008. Since then, he's been an 8-time All-Star. He's won 3 Cy Youngs, which was in 2011, 13, and 14. He won the Triple Crown for pitchers. And for those that don't know, sometimes when we hear the Triple Crown, we automatically assume that it's for batters, for hitters. But there's also a pitcher's Triple Crown as well. And that consists of your record, your ERA, and number of strikeouts. That year in 2011, he won the Triple Crown. He had a record of 21-5, a 2.40 ERA, and 248 strikeouts.
That's incredible. There's like some pitchers don't even make like that many starts.
No.
In a season.
No. To get to 20 games, to win 20 games, is a phenomenal feat. But some get there, some don't. Kershaw has gotten there. He's got a 5-time ERA title, which is the best ERA in the league. He did it consecutively in 2011, 2012, 13, and 14, and then again in 2017. So he's been the most dominant pitcher in the National League for what was 4 consecutive years, and then even in 2017 as well. So we all know, obviously, that the Dodgers won the 2020 World Series. So he is now considered a World Series champion. He was a Major League Player of the Year in 2014. And can you guess what his career win record is right now?
It's 100. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say it's about 100, 175, and 76.
175 and 76 is his career record right now. His ERA, check this out, at 2.43.
How about his strikeouts?
His strikeouts, 2,526. Fudgy.
So there is one thing, like a couple of things I kind of like I'm seeing that you didn't mention, and I'm going to mention them because you did.
Okay, let's do it.
He won a Gold Glove in 2011.
Oh, that's right.
He also won the Roberto Clemente Award in 2012. And he also pitched a no-hitter in 2014.
Wow. It's easy to see that he is destined for Cooperstown here after his career's done.
Yeah, there's just one thing about Mr. Kershaw that kind of, it doesn't really like so much bug me. It's you ever seen his you've seen his
Oh yeah, his delivery
from the stretch or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing, he's the only person who does it. I mean, I know there's other people out there that do the weird thing. You have Kimbrel who does this, like his little arm thing. Yeah. I've always called that the pterodactyl. The first time I saw that was weird. But I mean, Kershaw is going to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. You're going to have Mookie Betts. He's going to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. you've got both Koufax and Jackie Robinson who are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's amazing the amount of players that are come from the Dodgers that are in the Hall of Fame and will be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. And that's why the Dodgers are our team of the week.
So next week, we are going to do our team of the week. It's going to be the San Francisco Giants. If we have any Giants fans out there, please make sure to tune in and listen, whatever, join us in conversations and whatnot. Share our tweets. The more you share, and the more followers we get, the more viewers we get, the more listeners we get, the better off. And more things will come on. And, maybe one point down the road, we could start doing like giveaways, which I know Rip and I have kind of like touched on. And that's something that we want to do to get more viewers or listeners involved into our whole ordeal. So definitely give us a tweet, give us a follow, and we will chat with you whenever we get a chance. Rip, I'm all set if you are.
I'm all set. I think it's been a great show. Thank you for those that voted on the poll into the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's a great organization, and we learned a lot.
Right. And make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and whatever. Give us a review. It doesn't matter if it's, if you think that there's stuff that we need to work on, definitely tell us. A 5-star review is definitely great. We'd be gracious of it. So with that, I'm done.
Absolutely. And be sure to head on over to the ripgriffinshow.com. You can leave us a voicemail if you have a question, comment, or concern as well. So that's going to do it for us, guys. We thank you all for listening, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Rip Griffin Show. Make sure to subscribe to the show on all the major podcast platforms. Follow Rip on Twitter @RipGriffin2.